Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Mai Demizu.
And I'm Makiko Tsuda.
Every week we bring you the freshest information out of Japan from our studio here in Tokyo.
From the economy, culture and even foods, if you want to find out what's happening in Japan right now, this is where you'll find it.
Channel Japan Ranking.
First up is Channel Japan Ranking, in which we rank some of the hottest products and services in the country. Today we focus on gifts. Well, Utsuda-san, in Japan we often send and receive gifts.
We certainly do. Now, just to show you a few, for example, these are the two types of gifts we send out often. One is called ochugen, which is generally a summer gift.
Right.
And you send them to bosses at work or friends and relatives to express our thanks. And the other one is called oseibo, which is an end-of-the-year gift sent out for the same purposes. So you could say gift giving is a Japanese custom.
Yes, and during summer and winter, department store prepare counters and areas just dedicated to ochugen and oseibo. So, and those areas are often very crowded.
They are, aren't they? And just looking at what kinds of gifts are being given at these occasions, these are the top three, and more than 30% of the gifts are sweets and snacks.
I see.
And other than ochugen or oseibo, I think Japanese often bring sweets and snacks when meeting people as a present, or they send out such gifts as seasonal greetings.
Well, they're chosen as gifts probably because most people love them and they tend to be reasonably priced. Today we focus on a company with a unique new strategy in the sweets industry. Have a look.
This store is a 10-minute drive from the nearest train station. Although the location is not very convenient, it's crowded on the weekends. Most of the customers are buying large quantities.
やっぱ美味しいです。いろいろ種類ありますし。
安いところですね。やっぱり多くて安いので、家族がいっぱいと4人いるのでいいと思います。
結構和菓子も洋菓子もあるので、すごいいろいろなものが選べていいなと思います。
Western sweets, such as cakes and puddings, account for half of the sales. Prices mainly range within $2 to $3. Next to the Western sweets are Japanese ones, such as dorayaki, pancakes filled with red bean paste, and dango, sweet dumplings. There are also 110 kinds of ice cream products that cost only about 40 cents each. In 2011, in July and August alone, the company sold 40,000 ice cream products.
ちょっとミルク系とか。
Besides those already mentioned, more sweets can be found here, ranging from cookies to rice crackers. On average, one store deals with 500 different products. All products are produced at the company's own factory and sold at its franchised retail stores.
原材料にこだわった高品質と、またその生産性を追求いたしましたお値打ち価格ということを前面に提供させていただいておりまして、ここは非常にお客様にご好評いただいております。
A confectioner's store where a variety of sweets can be purchased in one go. What is the basis of their quality? Chateaulaise's contracted farm is situated in the highlands at an altitude of 1,375 meters, overlooking the base of the Yatsugatake Mountains. Milk is an essential ingredient in many confections. The flavor of the milk is said to be proportional to the fat content.
脂肪が 3.8 を切らないように牧草をとにかく多めに全体の7割ぐらいが牧草になるようにで3割が配合飼料穀物です。
Ordinary milk in Japan contains 3.5% fat. The difference is only 0.3%, but this greatly affects the confections made from it. Usually, farms feed more grains to improve productivity. However, these contract farms place quality as their priority. Finely ground grass is fed more than grains to stimulate the cow's stomach. Every day, fresh milk is delivered to the factory from 24 contract farms. As with milk, eggs are also an essential ingredient. At this contract farm, chickens roam freely around the field, a relatively stress-free environment. The farmers here are also particular about the feed.
トウモロコシとか大豆だとか、あとカキ殻とか、それにさっき言ったように発酵飼料を混ぜてあげるね。
More than 10 ingredients, such as krill, seaweed, rice bran, soybean paste and chlorella, are mixed with grains and fed to the chickens. Not only does this improve the taste of the feed, but it also adds lactic acid bacteria that help the chickens digest. Eggs from chickens that are fed with lactic acid bacteria do not smell and are suitable for confectionery making. Approximately 10 tons of eggs are used in one day. To keep them as fresh as possible, eggs are not broken until just before use. They are then separated into yolks and whites, so that the proportion of each can be adjusted according to the final product. The milk is pasteurized slowly at a low temperature to maintain its flavor. Their custard cream is made with special care to quality and freshness. Plenty of fresh cream is added to the custard mixture to create the custard cream filling for one of the company's most popular products, cream puffs, that sell 30,000 a day. The production line is automated. Cream puffs are mass-produced with minimum manpower. Industrial robots apply cream on rows and rows of strawberry shortcakes. Almost every stage of production is automated, enabling 7,000 cakes to be produced in just 1 hour. Chateau Lezay grew rapidly by bringing in automation to its factories early on. Frozen sweets, sold in the early days of the company, held the key to that growth. To make up for the decrease in Japanese confectionery sales in the summer, the company began manufacturing ice cream products. Ice cream factories were generally mechanized for mass production, even at that time. The company gained knowledge and techniques of mass production and applied it to making Western confectionery. Confections using ingredients such as cream and fresh fruits spoil quickly. They were usually handmade and sold at small specialized shops, but prices were high and their selection limited. Chateau Lezay automated its factories and started mass production. At the time, cream puffs usually cost 50 cents, but the company was able to sell them at 10 cents, and they became a huge success. Another advantage of automation was the decreased risk of bacterial contamination. By minimizing human contact, bacteria from human hands were less likely to contaminate the confections, which meant less products spoiling. By selling high-quality confectionery at a price that makes customers happy, the product turnover rate increased. This made it easier to provide fresh products to consumers, creating a positive cycle. By focusing on what makes customers happy, the company has expanded its business opportunities.
失礼します。あ、ここはまた工場のラインとは違った雰囲気ですね。
そうですね。
The equipment in this room does not seem related to confectionery making at all. What are they doing?
これは何を今測定してるんですか？
この機械では粉類、小麦粉とか米粉とかの大きさを測っている機械です。新しい原料を探しておりまして、小麦粉に代わる米粉を今探しております。
Flour is used in many sweets, such as cakes. What is the purpose of searching for its replacement?
小麦粉のアレルギーが持ったお子さんがケーキが食べれないっていうことがありまして、小麦粉を米粉にすることによって、小麦粉のアレルギーの持ったお子様でも食べれるケーキが作れる可能性があります。
At another desk,
こちらはですね、食品中に含まれている糖の分析をしております。
here the types and amount of carbohydrates in various foods are being analyzed. What is the purpose?
糖尿病の方でも安心食べられるような商品を作ってるんですけども、それにはやはり糖質がどれくらい含まれているかっていうのを、厳密に測定する必要がございまして。
Cakes that can be eaten by those who are allergic to flour. Sweets that can be safely eaten by diabetics. Château-Laizet is making a strong effort to develop these functional products. On this day, a recipe for a cake free of wheat, eggs and dairy products, all common allergens, was being tested.
で、これ粉類ですけども、小麦粉の代わりに米粉、
米粉、
そうですね。その他他のでんぷんとかそういったものも使ってます。で、卵の代わりに大豆のタンパク質ですね。
これ卵の代わりなんですか？
そうですね。粉末の大豆のタンパク質です。はい。
Numerous trials were conducted, so the sponge base becomes fluffy when baked. Finally, they reached this mixture of rice flour and soybean protein. Added to this is vegetable oil with yellow food coloring from carrots and sugar. The batter is mixed thoroughly, so it becomes smooth. Then it is baked in an oven at 160 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes. Meanwhile, whipped cream is made by adding vegetable oil, gelatin and other ingredients to soybean milk and mixing them together. Then,
こんな風に焼き上がるんですけど、
a fluffy sponge base, freshly baked.
こんな感じで仕上がります。
きめ細かいスポンジに仕上がってますね。
そうですね。中に入れます。
Slice the sponge, spread whipped cream on it, add a layer of strawberry sauce, cool in a refrigerator, and the cake is done.
完成と。
Made without any dairy products, eggs or flour, this cake is the result of 4 years of research and development at this company.
じゃあ早速。
Although the ingredients are different, it does not look any different from an ordinary cake.
もうこのまま。はい、いただきます。
This product development staff pushed to create this cake after meeting a child who was suffering from food allergies.
私のですね、知り合いのところに小さいお子さんがいらっしゃって、重度のアレルギーだったんですね。食物アレルギーだったんですね。頬を触っただけでもうミミズバレのような状態になっちゃう。
そんなにひどいアレルギーだったんですか？
そうなんですよ。それで大変だなってことをその時初めて知って、でそうするとこの子はお誕生日もクリスマスもケーキを買ってお祝いができないんだなって考えたらですね、すごく寂しくなっちゃったんですよね。
There are people who want to eat but cannot. Becoming aware of this, the product development team researched and developed many functional products. Birthday cakes that are milk, egg and wheat free, puddings, muffins and manju, a steamed bun sweet, that do not significantly raise blood sugar levels, and even wheat-free bread. Many products continue to be developed. The company, which expanded its business through automated mass production, is continuing to explore new possibilities of confectionery.
There was so much research done on sweets. I didn't know that. Well, in these days in Japan, there are so many cases of children with food allergies. So these children and their parents must be thrilled by this news.
I'm sure they are. I mean, I loved having cake when I was a child on birthdays, and if you didn't have one, it'd be very sad. And here are the top 3 allergies that Japanese have in general. As you can see, they're eggs, milk, and wheat, and they're definitely all ingredients very often used in making cakes and sweets. So it's really quite a feat being able to make sweets and cakes without these 3 ingredients.
Well, Tsuda-san, I think such efforts are made in other products besides sweets.
Yes, there are. For example, Japan's traditional condiment, soy sauce, or shoyu, as we call it, is made from soybeans and wheat. But for people who have allergies to these ingredients, there's soy sauce being made using sesame seeds and barley.
I see. Well, since soy sauce is often used in Japanese cuisine, such products must be in high demand.
I would imagine so. And again, there's also pasta, which is made from rice flour instead of wheat, so that people with wheat allergies can enjoy pasta as well.
I see. Well, I hear that there are some attempts to change the nutritional value of the food itself.
Yes, there are. It's interesting. A research group in Shimane University, which is in western Japan, developed melons that are lower in potassium than regular melons. And by developing these, people who need to limit their potassium intake, such as people with diabetes or people with kidney disease, can also enjoy melons.
Well, it must be a great news for the patients with food restrictions.
Yes, I would think so, because I hear many families, especially if a family member can't eat fruits high in potassium content, the whole family refrains from eating such fruits. So if these low potassium melons are available, then the patient and the family can all enjoy melons.
I think so too. Well, that's it for Channel Japan Ranking. After the break, we'll be showing you a popular documentary program. Stay tuned.
Mitsui & Company.
My parents work at a really great company, which makes cool computers and LCD TVs. Not only that, they build elevators for skyscrapers and zooming fast bullet trains. My mom designs the company's CT scan systems, which spot diseases. My dad develops power generation systems so people will have plenty of electricity. The company where my parents work is Toshiba.
Has anybody finished doing their pictures?
I have.
All around the world, Toshiba technology is hard at work, bringing smarter, faster, more sustainable development to life.
When I grow up, I want to work for people.
For a growing future, Toshiba.
As the future evolves, Toyota is envisioning a more interconnected life where information and energy flow seamlessly throughout the globe. The road ahead will require diverse and eco-friendly mobility solutions. It is on this path that our small choices lead to big changes. Life. Connected. Toyota.
Asia, the engine of the global economy. Japan, a regional powerhouse. And now, direct from Japan, economic news with a global impact in Chinese and English, delivered by Nikkei. Read the future, lead the economy. Nikkei, Japan's leading media for business.
You're watching Channel Japan. In our next segment, we introduce you to some of our popular documentary programs. Today, it's from Japanese Dream by TBS. Today's episode features a woman who is attempting to develop a new type of fuel that does not rely on fossil fuels.
Yes, she focused on the leftover oil when making one of Japan's traditional dishes, tempura. Surprisingly, this cooking oil used to deep fry tempura can be recycled to run a car.
Well, recycling what is no longer needed in the kitchen is such a great idea. But is it true that this fuel made from this oil has several advantages over regular fuel?
Yes, you're right. Now, when tested, the emissions of sulfur oxides, which causes air pollution, was close to zero, and also graphite emissions were less than half of diesel, which makes this fuel a possible substitute for diesel fuel.
Today, we introduce you to a woman who succeeded almost 20 years ago in developing biodiesel fuel by recycling cooking oil. Have a look.
In 2009, a Japanese woman was chosen as one of Time magazine's Heroes of the Environment. Her name is Yumi Someya. She made the list for the groundbreaking dream she is trying to achieve.
夢はですね、東京を油田にすることです。
Turning Tokyo into an oil field? According to Someya, 10,000 tons of fuel lay untouched in Tokyo. And it's more ecological than diesel. Someya is trying to extract this dream-like fuel. We took a close look at this passionate woman with an outsized dream, trying to save an energy-hungry Japan.
I have a dream.
In February this year, Someya was in Meguro, Tokyo, for an event.
あ、着いた。着いた。
It was an event lighting up the entire Meguro River. Amazingly, the source of energy powering the countless light bulbs was used cooking oil from households.
絶対いいよね、それはね。エコだし無駄がなくて。こんなにでも光るもんさし。
An hour before the event, Someya showed us how the generator worked to produce electricity using fuel derived from the used cooking oil.
ですね。一気起きた。天ぷら油というのは、まあご家庭では必ずある和食用、調味料の一つなので、それでですね、それを使い終わったものでこういったエネルギーを作ることができれば、地域地域でエネルギーの地産地消ができるんですね。電気の無駄もなくなるし、実際ゴミとなっている油がですね、有効利用されていいかなと思います。
But how does the used cooking oil turn into fuel? Someya has set up 200 collection stations in and around Tokyo, where used cooking oil from households is collected.
こんにちは。油が。これ缶交換だっけ？缶交換？ こんにちは。油ですね。はい。じゃあこちらにお願いします。はい。どうぞ。いいですか、入れていただいて。
固めて捨てていたので、こういった取り組みをやってらっしゃるところがあるとすごく環境にもいいですし、エネルギーに変わるのがすごくいいなと思っていつも持ってきてます。
There is no regulation mandating the recovery of cooking oil used in households, so it is usually just thrown away. So Somiya established a system to collect used oil on her own. The collected cooking oil is turned into fuel at a factory run by Somiya's family in Sumida Ward. Around 5 metric tons of cooking oil is collected each month. The oil is poured into a huge processing tank where impurities are removed. A chemical reaction then turns 95% of the cooking oil into biodiesel fuel, an alternative to diesel. When you run an engine using this fuel,
確かに天ぷら油のような匂いもします。
Somiya is once again on the road in Tokyo, collecting used cooking oil and leaving a delicious scent in her trail.
東京はね、大きい油田なんですよ。っていうのはなぜかというと、だから天ぷら油を利用してエネルギーを作ることができれば、東京は油田になるんですね。
Somiya had always been interested in environmental issues, and after she finished high school and gained some work experience, she began working in the family business of recycling oil. The family business collects industrial oil, mandated by law to be recovered, and turns it into ingredients for soaps, candles, and fertilizers. One day, while Somiya was out collecting oil, a shopkeeper said to Somiya, covered in sweat and oil, "Why is a girl like you doing something like this?"
やっぱり傷ついて、こういう仕事してることはとてもいいことだと自分で思ったのに、社会からこうやって見られるのかとかね、差別されたりとか、そういう嫌な言葉言われたりとかして、こう傷つく反面奮い立ちましたね。この現場を変えていこうと。
She would never forget the determination she felt that day. Soon after, she came across an article reporting that biofuel had successfully been derived from soybeans in the US. This is it, she thought. If soybeans can become fuel, used cooking oil must be able to do the same. When she talked to her father about the idea,
いいアイデアだと、素晴らしいと、それで動いたわけですね。
Somiya and her family's adventure began. They had been processing waste oil in their factory, so removing impurities from the oil was easy. But turning that into fuel was a challenge.
化学反応を起こすんですね。
化学反応。
はい。アルコールと触媒を入れて。
触媒というのは。
触媒というのはね、一応企業秘密なんです。
After a year of trial and error in search of the right catalyst, they finally succeeded in creating biodiesel fuel from used cooking oil. But it wasn't long before they faced another challenge. Soot from the biodiesel fuel had clogged up the engines of several of the cars, making them inoperative. This was a critical flaw.
やはり天ぷら油で車が走るのかっていうふうにね、言われてましたから、こういう失敗が起こっちゃえばもうこれは使えない商品化は無理なんじゃないかっていうふうに思ったので、谷底に起こったみたいな、ね、気持ちでしたね。
the quality of the cooking oil fuel was unreliable. Seeing Somaya at the end of her wits, her father brought in Kazuyoshi Kokuma, a long-time researcher of fuel at a local factory in their neighborhood.
天ぷら油だと廃棄処分しかできなかったものも再生処理できるということがね、素晴らしいですよね。
An expert in chemistry, Kokuma spent a year analyzing the fuel. By the end, the quality improved. The final product was named vegetable diesel fuel.
違うステージにまだ立って見ると違う景色が見えてきて、そこに登ってみると見えない景色が、今まで見えなかった景色が見えてきて、あ、これまでのねこう努力とか苦労っていうのが、あ、この景色を見るためにやってきたんだなっていうふうに思うと、嬉しいし、まだまだそれは先もあるから、常にこう努力し続けて、また違う景色を見たいなと思いますね。
The desire to discover new things kept her going in the face of adversity. Somaya launched a project called Tokyo Yuden 2017, or Tokyo Oil Field in Japanese.
だから東京に油田があるのっていうのはよくクエスチョンマークで来ますよね、質問として。だけどこういった使い終わった油、捨てられてるものを集めれば大量なエネルギーを作ることができますって話をすれば、みんな、ああ、東京に油田があるんだっていうふうに、目から鱗のように分かっていただきますね。
The plan is to recycle every last drop of used cooking oil in Tokyo and the surrounding areas and turn it into fuel by 2017. Her project drew the attention of one of the world's leading motor manufacturers. They approached the Somayas with an idea to jointly develop a biodiesel fuel manufacturing plant.
ある離島のなんですけれども、そこで例えばその廃食油が出たとしても、それをその処理するものがですね、その島にはなくて、わざわざ要は本土に持ってこなきゃいけないんですよ。本土に持っていくと結局ものすごくこう手間とかコストとかかかるので、できればその島で発生した廃食油はそこで加工できて、なおかつ発電に回せれば、要は一番非常にきれいなサイクルになるんですね。リアルリアル
Their goal is to develop a mobile fuel production plant. This February, her dream of local production of energy for local consumption came true. The first mobile plant was completed. All the manufacturing technologies of the Somaya family business are concentrated in this one container.
それが全自動でなので、全自動で流動的になるので、ここにこう入ってくるんですね。
When the outside valve is connected to used cooking oil, the oil is automatically pumped up to be processed into biodiesel fuel. 被災地とかにですね、このプラントを受けたらいいなと思います。というのはまだまだこれから先もですね、まだ地震が起こるかもしれないし、まだインフラをちゃんとしっかりできてませんから、こういったものが地域に置かれてですね、自立したエネルギーをその地域で作ってもらえたらいいなというふうに思います。 The very first mobile plant is on its way to the remote island.
でもなんか嬉しいですね。お読みに出すような感じ。
On this day, Somaya took a big step forward towards her dream. People reacted positively to the illumination powered by the used cooking oil.
今電力問題とかいろいろ問題になってるんですけど、そういうなんていうんですかね、いろんな選択肢があって、ずっとなんていうんですか、原子力とか火力とかそういうのに頼らずにも、一つの可能性として皆さんに示すことができるっていう はすごいいい試みだと思います。
Somia's father, her biggest supporter, had some fatherly advice for his unmarried daughter.
ぜひね、いいパートナーと一緒に仕事してくれれば今の仕事もねいいんじゃできるんじゃないかなっていうふうに思いますね。
はいはいはいはい、心配かけないようにしたいなとは思います。はい、使い終わった油というものがですね、私にとってはですね、こう師っていうか教えてくれる先生のようなもので、やればできる、やればこうなんつうか役に立つね存在になれるっていうことですね。そういう油っていうのはいつもそれを教えてくれるのかなと思います。はい。
Well, it's interesting to hear that cars running on tempura oil give off tempura smell. I can't wait to smell them in this town.
True. It's interesting. And amazingly, in Tokyo, 10,000 tons of kitchen oil is being thrown out by households every year. And if all of that can be collected, it actually would be enough fuel for 28,000 trucks to run from the northern tip of Japan all the way down to the southern end.
28,000 trucks, that's amazing.
It is, isn't it? And now Somiya-san is also trying to generate electricity by using the same cooking oil and a power generator like this one.
Really? Running cars and next generating electricity. It seems that Somiya-san's dream to make Tokyo an oil field is evolving. But securing alternative sources of energy is a hot topic, so I look forward to more development in this field. After the break, we'll be showing you a popular economics program, Gachiri Monday. Stay tuned.
How do we build sustainability into our relationship with Mother Earth? That's Kaiteki, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings.
Traditional.
Consistent.
Precise.
Speedy.
Professional. Innovative.
Polite. Quality from Japan, the best of business in Asia. SMBC, Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation.
Where we see nothing, there could be anything. Panasonic is putting the endless energy of the sun to work. Generating, storing, and managing energy efficiently. Helping power our daily lives.
A better life, a better world. Panasonic.
Welcome to Tokyo Skytree. This is the grand panoramic view from 450 meters. Here you experience the unforgettable. Look. Enjoy. Be amazed. And be awestruck. That's what Tokyo Skytree is all about. Japan's latest landmark, Tokyo Skytree.
Sasuke, a new type of sports entertainment program conquering the world.
It's about human achievement and people's passions, and I think that relates to almost everybody.
From Japan to the world, Ninja Warrior, Tokyo Broadcasting System.
You're watching Channel Japan. In next segment, we'll be showing you a popular economics program. Today, it's from Gachiri Monday by TBS. In this episode, we show you the #1 prefecture series.
Yes, and each episode of this series introduces one prefecture and focuses on products and technology that makes them Japan's best.
Today, we bring you Hiroshima Prefecture, a prefecture in western Japan that faces Seto Inland Sea.
Yes. Now, the prefecture is known globally for the Hiroshima Peace Memorial and also its Kushima Shrine, both of which are listed as UNESCO World Heritage Sites.
Well, they're both very popular for the tourists from abroad, so some of our viewers may have been to Hiroshima before.
I would imagine so, and in today's episode we introduce Hiroshima's various industries, including one that evolved from Japan's traditional craftsmanship.
Have a look!
Today on Gachiri Monday, we will show you Japan's #1 industries that are located in Hiroshima Prefecture. Our first stop is Kure City's Niigata district. What's made here that is #1?
これです。ヤスリが日本一です。
This company, Tsubo-san, is the maker of nearly 50% of the files manufactured in Japan. Here in Niigata alone, there are 30 other file manufacturers, which is why Hiroshima Prefecture holds 95% of the domestic share in files.
戦争中に戦艦や飛行機を作るためにこの地にヤスリの生産者が集められまして、戦争が終わってからもこの地に残って作り続けている。
The city of Kure was formerly a naval port where many battleships were built. Files played an indispensable role in shipbuilding, so file craftsmen were gathered from all around Japan. During World War II, other file production areas were hit, but this area suffered less damage because it was far from the city center. The file craftsmen stayed after the war and continued to develop the file industry. Tsubo-san makes about 1,000 types of files for domestic and professional use. Let's see how they are made. First, the surface is polished. Metal is cut into pieces and the surface is polished with a rotary grinder. The pieces must be smoothed down first to later create a rough surface. Otherwise, the teeth of the files do not come out well. Next, the teeth are made. About 200 teeth are cut into one file. This very delicate process determines the file's coarseness. The next step is very unusual.
ここでヤスリに味噌を塗ります。味噌、食べる味噌です。
Surprisingly, miso or soybean paste is used. This is an important step in file making. After being coated with miso, the file is dipped into molten lead. Because of the miso, the lead doesn't adhere to the spaces between the teeth. Also, the file absorbs the carbon in miso, resulting in a harder, stronger product.
うちは増田味噌さんの赤味噌なんですが、よそのヤスリ屋さんは企業秘密なので。
As the type of miso determines the file's finish, companies keep it an industry secret. In the past, file manufacturers stored their miso in pots and kept them close. This is why many companies have the word tsubo, meaning pot in Japanese, in their company names. 25 companies out of 30 have tsubo included in their names and logos. Next, we visit the coastline in Takahara City. This blue building houses Japan's top manufacturer of a food product.
ジャムが日本一です。あ、よく見るジャムじゃないですか。
Hiroshima is Japan's #1 prefecture in jam production. 50% of Japan's jams and preserves are made by this company, Aohata.
創始者の中島東一郎がですね、ヨーロッパ行ってマーマレードを見て食べて感動して、でぜひこれを日本で作りたいというふうに思ってスタートしたと。
Why start business in Hiroshima?
この広島の柑橘類が非常に美味しいということで。
When the founder decided to make marmalade in Japan, he needed fresh and sweet citrus fruits. The Setouchi Islands have a mild climate with little rain and citrus fruits were in abundance. He wanted to use fresh fruit as quickly as possible, so he set up his business near the islands on the coast of Hiroshima. Let's see how their products are made. The process begins by heating and mixing the fruit and sugar in a pot. This picture shows navel orange marmalade. The ingredients are mixed with care to avoid mashing the fruit. And in order to boil down the mixture quickly, the inside of the tank is kept in a near vacuum state. This way, the jam boils at low temperature. With speedy boiling, the color, shape and taste of the fruit can be preserved. The mixture is then sterilized and put into jars. With over 200 kinds of jams and preserves, their sales totaled $79 million in 2012. We now visit a company near the Hiroshima Prefectural Government Office. What can we find here that's #1 in Japan?
はい、これです。広島県は春が日本一です。
Hiroshima Prefecture holds 90% of the domestic share in needle manufacturing, out of which 30% are made by this company, Tulip. They make regular hand sewing needles, marking pins, and crochet needles. They make over 20 different kinds of needles. But why needles in Hiroshima?
江戸時代からですね、浅野藩の殿様の下級武士がですね、手内職で作っておられたというふうに聞いておりますね。
Over 300 years ago, during the Edo period, authorities in Hiroshima encouraged lower-class samurai to begin needle making as a side job. Their needles were high quality and became popular in Kyoto, Nagasaki, and other areas in Japan. The needle business continued to thrive, and then came World War I.
一番やっぱり増えたきっかけはですね、第一次大戦の時にヨーロッパの針の工場がですね、できなくなって、その特需がですね、広島に来たと。
Britain and Germany were famous for their needle industries, but during the war, their production decreased. That's when Hiroshima caught the world's attention. Because of special procurement demand, the production and export of Hiroshima's needles soared. To see the manufacturing process, we left the head office and visited the factory, quite high up in the mountains. How long does it take to make one needle?
2週間から3週間ぐらい1本作るのにかかります。1本ですよ。そうですね。
So, let's see how the needles are made. First, the raw metal is cut by machine. Then the tips are sharpened. And the pieces are tempered for strength. What's the next step?
ここが今一番長くかかる工程なんですけど。
During this long process, the surface and eye are smoothed out for a polished finish. The needles are then given the finishing touches and inspected. With over 30 steps in the manufacturing process, these needles take more than 2 weeks to make. Next, we visit Atom Corporation in Takehara City. What makes them Japan's best?
これです。ゴム張り手袋です。
They're not rubber gloves, they're rubber-coated gloves, often used in Japan by people in construction and delivery. Hiroshima Prefecture holds the top domestic share in these gloves. But why is Hiroshima a good place for gloves? The answer is connected to the needles we just saw.
針を輸出する際にコンテナに乗せてするんですけれども、帰りがですね空になるんで、ドライラバーをコンテナに積んで広島に帰ってくると。
Around the 1930s, Hiroshima's needle manufacturers exported mainly to China and Thailand. The shipping containers were full on the way there, but empty on the way back. To fill up the empty space, the containers were loaded with natural rubber found all over Asia, leading to the growth of Hiroshima's rubber industry. Another Hiroshima company, Morton, uses rubber to make competitive use sports balls and has the top domestic share. Atom Corporation formerly manufactured workwear. They brainstormed how to incorporate natural rubber and came up with rubber-coated gloves. The gloves breathe well, just like cotton work gloves, but are less slippery. This long-selling product has been on the market for more than 40 years. How are these rubber-coated gloves made?
これは全量手袋を編んでます。こうやって。
The company makes about 7,000 to 8,000 pairs of gloves a day. This black ribbon is the other main material, rubber. It is colored and cut to fit the glove shape, and is then glued to the glove with a special adhesive. Finally, the gloves are placed on hand mannequins and heated. The gloves brought in $7.8 million of sales in 2012.
Are there other aspects in which Hiroshima beats other prefectures?
Yes, there certainly are. This is it. Streetcars. Now, streetcars are trains that run on the roads alongside cars, and Hiroshima, interestingly, has the most number of streetcars in Japan.
Really? I've ridden on streetcars in Hiroshima before, and I especially enjoy the views from the window. And to me, these streetcars have a nostalgic feel. And I hear people are rediscovering its merit.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Now, streetcars are said to relieve car pollution and also traffic jams, because if more people ride the streetcars, less people would be driving.
Right.
And as a result, they're said to be eco-friendly. And also, they have a larger carrying capacity than buses, and also they can be ridden on the streets at street level. So it's easier for people, senior citizens, or even children to get on and off them.
Right.
And lastly, they have a lower setup cost compared to other transportation.
Really? Their cost is low. That's surprising.
Yes. It's said that streetcars only take about 1/15 of the cost of subways. And that's why European cities are re-examining the advantages of streetcars, and people have high hopes for them, especially in the aspect of environmental conservation.
I see. Well, that's it for this edition of Channel Japan. We have much more in store for you, so make sure to tune in next week.
Hey, look at this. They're building a huge steel plant with Kobelco technology.
Kobelco? Never heard of it.
It's Japanese. They can make iron with incredible speed. What once took 8 hours can be done in just 10 minutes.
Wow, the Japanese are incredible. The country of karate.
Ha! 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 Karate has nothing to do with it.
True. The talk of the world. Kobelco.
Mitsubishi Electric is helping to change the environment for the better around the world.
Green subway systems in India.
Green air conditioning systems in Singapore.
Echo changes for a greener tomorrow. Mitsubishi Electric.
Changing emissions from copper refineries into fertilizer. That is where Sumitomo Chemical got its start. For 100 years, we've been delivering the power of chemistry around the world. And we will continue to help make the world a better place for the next 100 years and more.
Channel Japan. Your source for the voices and views of people and businesses across Japan. The latest reports on Japanese companies, culture, and technology. Find out what's happening on the ground. Every week, direct from Tokyo, Channel Japan.